Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I'm Snehesh Alex Philip. The last 1 week has been a busy week for us. Well, to begin with, our founder and editor-in-chief, Shekhar Gupta and I were in Mao in Madhya Pradesh, that is near Indore, where, of course, the Army War College is based. And we were there for a program where we interacted with a number of officers of the colonel rank and above. And then I traveled to Kanpur, where the Adani Defense and Aerospace has set up its first manufacturing hub for ammunitions and missiles, which would be the largest one in South Asia. Well, as I record this, many of my colleagues are traveling across the country. One is in Rajasthan, another is in Maharashtra, third is traveling to Manipur. There's one more who's traveling to Punjab. Why are they traveling? They're traveling to get you stories from the ground, because here at ThePrint, we believe in getting you stories not only that you want to read, but also stories that you should read. We don't believe in doing reporting, sitting in Delhi in front of computer screens and Googling and putting the information together. What we believe is going out to the source of the story and getting you the facts that matter. Now, you would wonder why I'm mentioning all this. Well, the reason is because all of this comes at a cost, and that cost is prohibitive too at times. And hence, I request you to subscribe to ThePrint, to be part of the Print family. Please follow the instructions and the links that you see on the screen. Now, as I mentioned, this week the Adani Group inaugurated its new integrated ammunition factory, the largest one in South Asia, that aims to cater not just to the Indian military's requirement of small, medium and large caliber, but also global demand. Spread over 500 acres, the facility in Kanpur, part of the 3,000 crore investment that the Adani Defense and Aerospace, which is part of the Adani Enterprises, is doing at the UP Defense Corridor. This facility will also manufacture missiles. Now remember that defense is the new sector that the Adani Group, whose business interests run across mining, ports, energy, airport, housing, infrastructure, is focusing on. I spoke to both Jeet Adani, the Vice President of Adani Enterprises, the younger son of business tycoon Gautam Adani, and Ashish Rajvanshi, the CEO of Adani Defense and Aerospace. Jeet told me that the family, that is the Adani family, has got into defense sector with a long-term vision that spreads across the next 50 to 60 years. Now you would wonder why ammunition of all things. The Indian Army currently has a large ammunition inventory comprising 175 variants of different caliber and type. These range from ammunition for vintage platforms to advanced precision guided munitions. Out of these, 134 ammunition variants have already been indigenized through the DRDO, the DPSUs, that is the Defense Public Sector Units, and the private industry. But this also means that several still get imported. Moreover, due to production constraints, capacities and large requirements for both operational and training needs, there exists a demand versus supply gap which becomes extremely critical during conflict. God forbid. While for some of you, the ammunition might sound like a small business, the fact is that it is not. Considering the limited players in the field worldwide with expertise in ammunition manufacturing and countries' competitive manufacturing costs, the Indian industry will have a huge advantage. The export potential, according to one estimate, is approximately rupees 16,000 crores. As part of the plan, the Kanpur facility has started rolling out small caliber ammunition starting with 150 million rounds, estimated at 25% of India's annual requirement, which will be scaled up in time. The group plans to start production of the high caliber rounds for the artillery guns next, before manufacturing the medium caliber ammunition. This foray into the ammunition business is besides the existing manufacturing plant in Gwalior for the small arms, the one in Hyderabad for the drones and other unmanned systems, and the one in Bangalore for aerospace. Now, Jeet told me that while defense is a major focus area for the group, in all honesty, there would be other businesses which will see larger growth, keeping the entire pie of the Adani Group in mind. But, and I quote him, but defense will be a sizable enough to get noticed. This won't be something that will go unnoticed, but will not be as big as, let's say, the green hydrogen business. And I quote closed. Refusing to get into specifics, Jeet said that the Adani Group will invest big in defense sector as the aim is to scale up. He said that the investment will run into thousands of crores, but in single digit, indicating that the figure could be anything less than rupees 10,000 crore over the next 3 to 5 years. Ashish said that it is impossible to give actual investment figures because it will depend on a whole host of issues, including the continued policy by the central government and the armed forces continuing to give orders to the private sector. For example, the Adani Group is investing 3,000 crore in the UP defense corridor alone. Now, Ashish explained that investment will depend on a lot of orders. Let's assume the armed forces give an order for 100 missiles. And suddenly, if they give an order for 7,000 missiles, naturally the Adani Group will have to invest quickly to scale up that fast. While we know that defense is a big market, how much do you think it is worth? India has a defense budget of $75 billion, of which $25 billion has been spent on acquisition. The defense budget is expected to increase to a whopping rupees 300 billion over the next 10 years, and Adani, being a tier 1 player just like Tata, Bharat Forge, L&T, will play a major role besides, of course, the MSMEs. Jeet and Ashish said that the group has been selective of which field they want to enter when it comes to defense. Their focus is on ISR, that is Intelligence, Surveillance and Reconnaissance Solutions, counter-drone systems, air defense, missiles and munitions, besides arms and ammunition, rotary platform and aircraft services. They say that the areas where they are focused are areas where they think they will have a competitive advantage and is something which is unserved. Ashish said that while Adani Group was looking at long-term benefits, they also thought about meeting the immediate need of the armed forces. While talking to me, he said, let's take the example of small arms. And he questioned me, could we, despite 75 years of history, actually supply reliable carbines, sniper, assault rifles, light machine guns, pistols to the Indian Armed Forces? Well, my answer was no. He then asked, do we have continuous supply of 600 million rounds of small caliber ammunition? The answer again was no. He asked, do we have an internal supply of medium caliber or air defense ammunition? The answer was sadly again a no. And hence, we got into the small arms and ammunition business, he said. Talking about future program, Jeet said that he is looking at unmanned systems both for ground and water. They call it the UGV, Unmanned Guided Vehicles, for both underwater and surface. This will be a big focus area for the Adani Group. The group is also focused on artillery guns and helicopters. Adani Defense and Aerospace will respond to a request for proposal issued by the Army for the mounted gun system and will also compete for the towed gun system program. On the helicopters front, the group was looking at the Naval Utility Helicopter program, that is NUH of the Navy, which continues to remain stuck. But the need for the NUH remains, and that is something that the Adani Group will bid for. Talking about unmanned systems, Ashish asked me to imagine an unmanned vessel sitting on the ocean bed, carrying out continuous surveillance for 3 to 4 weeks. And he says that Adani Group is not going by the traditional way of looking at things. While those systems are also important, newer technology will make a difference. Another big area of focus was the MRO, that is the maintenance, repair and overall sector. If one looks at the civil sector, for example, the order for almost 500 aircraft by Tata and Indigo will open up opportunities in the MRO sector. Earlier, these aircraft went to Dubai, Singapore and Sri Lanka for MRO. But this sector will see a growth in India because the Narendra Modi government is pushing for growth in the MRO sector itself. Ashish said that when it comes to defense sector, one of the biggest challenges we faced globally was the lack of spares in the global supply chain because the whole chain dried up due to the Russia-Ukraine war. And I quote, so whatever was flying became grounded. So it became imperative that buying from outside is okay, but in times of conflict, one is not literally able to fly their own equipment. So pick up anything from the IL-76 to the Mi-17 or the Su-30 fleet, everything is struggling for spares. The same is happening to the land system, he said, adding that this was an area where the group was focusing on. Now, Jeet has said that the group is investing in R&D and not just focused on assembly. Now, one question that I had in mind and that I asked was on these allegations that companies like Adani are just assembling foreign equipment without any actual localization. Well, Ashish shot back and he said, sometimes people get agitated without realizing how the industry functions. He then went on to explain, today I want to make a laptop and tomorrow suddenly someone out there will say on day 1 laptop was to be manufactured and on day 10 Adani is still just making the keyboard and screen, whereas the master CPU is not from Adani. And he says, absolutely it is not. Why do you think the Prime Minister is pushing for the semiconductor industry to be established in India? So to answer the question, he says, over the last 75 years, tell me any electronics, semiconductors, big mechanical, big precision industry that came up in India, and he challenged to show him. Well, I couldn't because no such industry really came up in India. So he says, you can either put an allegation on me or the country, but the fact is that we have to go through this roadmap to bring India bottom up so we have these capabilities. So yes, that is what the Adani Group is focusing on when it comes to defense. Do subscribe to The Print and follow The Print for more such videos.